Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel Tales from the Cryptomancer, where we feature content on play-to-earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And today I wanted to do a video around making moves, basically a new series that I wanted to try to see if it would be interest to the community, just talking about some of the moves I was making in the market. For me personally, I mean, everyone's situation is going to be different, but I could just maybe highlight some of the things that I'm doing and the reasons why I'm doing them. And one of the beauties, I guess, of blockchain gaming is really everything's available for auditing, for viewing. Certainly you can have, I guess, hidden wallets or hidden accounts or whatever, but for the most part, I mean, if you're curious what, your favorite YouTubers are doing in the game, you can look it up and see. It's not, it's public knowledge, and it's available for everyone. So what I wanted to do is just kind of share what I've been doing recently in the game and why. And if this is something that's of interest and you'd like to see more of, let me know in the comments below. I figured we'd give it a try and just start it out. So the first thing I've done recently is I went on and saw a great deal on a flesh golem, a level 3 flesh golem at a really decent price. I would say reasonable price, and I went ahead and scooped that up after Chaos Legion was launched, just because I'd never had self-healing flesh golem, and it's a great card, and I've used it a tremendous amount since purchasing it, and I'm very happy that I made that purchase, especially with the price coming down pretty significantly recently. So my next purchase this past week was Kelia Frendel. On the market, there was a level 7 version of her, just a few cards away from level 8, which is max level for gold. And I couldn't resist. It was priced at about 50% cheaper per BCX than the current market price. So I scooped that up. I added a few of their missing bases to get it to level 8. And I used it for a couple days, and then I relisted it just to see what it would sell for. And while I did that, I had actually picked up, prior to the Chaos Legion release, a Serpentine Soldier level 6 beta card for a really good price, and I was able to flip that on the market and sell that for a decent profit. And here is what I did, is I picked up a level 4 Ouster Rotwell, basically, with those proceeds. And, I'm all in on Amplify. And we can talk about that here in just a minute. But let's first kind of review some more of the purchases that I have made. So once I picked up Ouster Rotwell, and I basically traded the Serpentine Soldier plus some DEC that I had earned from selling some Chaos Legion cards. I then went and picked up some remaining Venari Spellsmith cards to get that card to level 4, and we'll talk about why I did that in just a moment. And then what I did is, with Kelia relisted, I was able to actually sell the level 8 Kelia and flip that, and actually make a decent amount of DEC on that swap or flip as well. And at that point in time, I picked up a Queen Mycelia for my second copy of Queen Mycelia, which will take her to level 2 for me, which is also important to the Amplify discussion. And then I saw a really good deal on Lear Deep Swimmer, who I'd been monitoring here. And what I did is I was just a little short on the DEC from Kelia, so I sold my one base of Ouster that I didn't need anymore, because I now have a level 4 Ouster, and I sold that, and now I had enough DEC with the Kelia flip and the Ouster base sale. I was able to get a level 2 Lear Deep Swimmer basically by trading there, and that is a 3 BCX Lear Deep Swimmer. And let's see why I did that. So if we take a look at my personal summoners, prior to Chaos Legion, the only summoner I had leveled up was Kretch, and he was at a gold level. And I am really kind of enthralled by this Amplify ability. And let's talk about what the Amplify ability does. It increases Magic Reflect, Return Fire, and Thorn damage to all enemy monsters by 1. So that's pretty significant damage increase. And if it was just on an individual monster like a Jin Chihuahua or a sea monster, that would be one thing. But what we have here is kind of a perfect storm where we have summoners like Lear Deep Swimmer with Return Fire, Mylar Crowling with Thorns, and Ouster Rotwell with Magic Reflect. These summoners grant the entire team this ability, which is a force multiplier because it allows passive damage to occur in a defensive way, just inherently by them being on the battlefield, having monsters on the battlefield. So their damage output or DPS output, just by having these summoners, is increased by themselves, and now you had Amplify into the mix, and it's even increased significantly more. So really, if you can anticipate, for example, when you will go against a General Sloan, or when you will go against a Jotun, and you can play Lear Deep Swimmer with Return Fire and Amplify, that's a pretty good win percentage at that point in time. Same thing could be said when you go against, for example, Tarsa or Kelia in Chaos Legion. If you can field Mylor with Thorns and Amplify, you have a significant advantage. And if you can predict when you might be going against an Ulrich or Obsidian magic team and you can field Ouster with Magic Reflect and Amplify, again, the advantage goes to you at that point in time. The other thing what's great about all three of these summoners, Ouster, Lear, and Mylor, is they're all usable in both the modern format as well as the wild format. So their usage is across the game. So for me, that was a huge reason to look at investing in those three summoners. Now, the other part of the perfect storm here is the neutral card, the Venari Spellsmith, because the Venari Spellsmith is a rare card where at level 4 rare gets Amplify, and this card can be put into an Earth team under Mylor. It can be put under Ouster for Death and Lear for Water at level 4 rare, which is a reasonable level to try and get those summoners at to get Amplify available to them. So if we look at the summoners here, again, so Ouster gets access to level 4 rares at level 4, which is 25 bases, and Lear gets access to level 4 rares at level 2, which is 3 bases. And for Mylor, he can use Queen Mycelia at level 2 legendary, which in this case would be 2 bases of the gold version of Mylor. So yes, these cards are expensive from a summoner perspective. Ouster level 4, Lear level 2, and Mylor level 3. But for me, if I look at where I'm investing my SPS and DEC, I thought it was best at this point in time to invest in those three summoners rather than the Chaos Legion summoners, because I believe the Chaos Legion summoners prices will continue to drop over the next month and a half to 2 months. So I'm not in a huge rush to pick those up and get those to gold level. I would rather take advantage of some good sale prices on Lear and Ouster, for example, to have a better long-term run at ranks like Diamond. So that is My theory on why I have done that from a market perspective, flipped some cards, made some purchases, watched the market and put some bids in. So I'd also like to share with you just some general tips when it comes to what I personally do in the market when I'm looking at card flips or increasing my collection. There's two tips I'd like to share. One is anytime I'm doing a card flip or looking at that as an option, I first ask myself, is this a card that I would actually use long term in my collection if for some reason the market tanked and I couldn't flip it anytime soon? If I was stuck with this card for, let's say, 1 or 2 months, would I be upset? I only really want to pick up flips that, again, are cards that I would actually use potentially in my collection if things went bad. And then secondly, the other thing I consider when adding to my collection and placing bids in the market is I'll definitely use peak monsters to put bids in place to make sure I get the best value. Like when I picked up those Minari Spellsmiths, I didn't just go on the market and just scoop up, the 10 I needed. I would actually go into peak monsters, put bids in at a decent price from a bid perspective, and then over maybe like an hour or maybe a day, I would just pick those up at a better price, and that adds up over time. Saving 10%, 20% on your cards over time, is a good way to have more money at the end of the game, right? Whatever that end game is for you from an investment perspective. So those are two things that I regularly do when I look at market purchases, and it may be helpful for you as well. So with that being said, let us go into a few sample battles from today's daily rank battles. So you can see kind of Amplify in action with some of these new summoners and how I'm using it to climb in ranked battles. And again, we're just starting the season here. We dropped down because we rented out our cards. So we're doing silver level battles right now. So it's maybe not the best example of Amplify in action, but I think you'll kind of see the general strategy here. And hopefully, again, this video has been useful to you. And if so, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, keep stacking those stats.
that's entertaining.